Hello, this is for women in their 50s looking to do network marketing and the money conversation, probably the one that's the hardest to talk about. Well, I'm going to just talk about the company that I started 28, 29 years ago and explain this to you. So, when I first started, what I did is I took their compensation plan and I printed it off. And this is what I highly suggest you do. Look at it and recognize that most people don't understand it. And so it's okay not to know everything, but to know the first couple of steps that get you some cash flow. And the goal is to get you cash flow as soon as possible. So what I would recommend doing is once you have gotten your starter kit in your company, whatever company it is, you go through it and take those products faithfully. And if you are strong enough in this area, sometimes you may not be, but I'm strong enough in the company that I'm doing for the fact that, I'll look at this, it has a 20-year history of being in other countries prior to coming to the United States with very good results. So with that said, I don't have to feel like I need to have a story, even though I already have one. But I feel when I started this, I started sharing right away, and I was like, okay, I think I can handle this because of my experience. So knowing that, you can trust your instinct. That if you feel that once you've done your homework, that if this seems legit, to always check the homework, you guys. I mean, there are some shady companies out there that I have seen, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So, anyway, but with that said, I just want you to know that once you get going, get moving and be prepared for those no's. Be prepared. I can't even talk here. Be prepared for those people that are negative Nellies. Like, they're like, oh, you can't do that. You can't, you'll never make a dime. Well, I was told the same thing when I first started mine. I don't know anybody that's ever made a dime in network marketing. Well, guess what? I was there first. They probably knew people, but they didn't know they made an income with network marketing. Nowadays, you hear a lot more people doing it, and it's almost like the norm. There's still those people that are so anti-MLM. I don't care. They can go, like, here's my thoughts on those kind of people. I'll just be like brutally honest on this one. If they've got nothing better to do in their life than be negative about somebody else's wins, they have problems. Dig deeper, not mine. Dig deeper, I'm going to say on them. But regardless, when you find a company that you know that people are making cash flow in it, it's okay. Start sharing. And I'll say you why, because so many times you'll just be like walking yourself right out of the door if you don't start. I'm going to say it. If you don't start, you're going to walk yourself right back out the door. As soon as you entered, you're going to walk right back out. So with that said, I remember my first month, I was like, oh man, I don't have my numbers. I should have brought my numbers with so you guys would, kind of hear my numbers. But I didn't make a whole ton the first 6 months. And then I had a talk with my husband, and I'm like, or is it 5 months or something? And I was like, hey, let me have a run at this. And funny part, we never talked about how much I should make. So I was putting my money into the bank account that I had set up for business and just slammed it in there and let it be, other than taking money out to reorder product for the next month. And I kept under budget so that I would have money set aside for taxes when tax time came. So so don't forget that part, in the cash flow. But going back to talking about expectations of what kind of cash you can make. I would talk to a few of the different people that are doing it and say, hey, what are you making? What kind of a check did you make at this point, this point, this point? And remember that everyone is different. We all are going to probably run things a hair bit differently. We won't be as savvy with our verbiage, or we might not be as lined up with, our bookwork, or lined up with our, what to say next. It's okay. You be you. Don't be, expecting this big old, check and be crazy. So here's kind of what I did back in the day. I said my first goal was to get my product paid for ASAP. So then when I was sharing it with people, they didn't want to do the business. I would say, hey, by the way, the products are really good. Here's kind of my results. Not sure what you're looking for. Let's figure it out if it would work for you. And so then we'd go from there, right? Okay, so with that said, a lot of people found that when they took the products, they'd have some kind of result, right? And then we'd go, okay, now that you've had a product result, would you like to share with others and at least get your product for free? So then that started building my check. And within, I think it was like by the 6th month of the first, it was like around, don't quote me on this, $400 to $600 in a month. And then when I hit a year, I was right about $1,000 a month. So I would slowly ramp it up. And then, was it 2 years later, I hit, roughly 4,000 to 6,000. And again, I don't have my numbers in front of me. I could be off. And then I think I jumped 2 years later. Then that's when I made roughly about 68. I don't remember the exact numbers. I'm like, haven't looked at them in so long. But I tracked mine. I did how many people, ordered per month, how many were like ordering randomly and how often, and then how many people were an auto ship or, whatever you want to call it at your company, whatever the monthly is. And then what my volume was and what the average sale was, and then what my check was. So I could kind of guess, like as I went along, how my check would grow depending on how many people were ordering and how they were ordering. And I even figured out the average sale per person over time. And so, you can do all kinds of things, but when you're starting off, just remember, have very not common, I don't want to say common, but have some realistic expectations as you're growing your business and say, this is my first step. Is it reasonable? There's my second, and work, and how long will it take? And what's the norm? And how many people do I need to get these kind of numbers that work for me? And don't expect, grandiose, numbers out of the chute. Remember, it takes time, and it takes you doing some kind of something, whether it's online or offline, and it's finding your rhythm of what works for you. So with that said, you want to be realistic when you're going in to looking at a company. And if you, again, want more further information with the company that I am, feel free to find me on Facebook or YouTube, like right here. Message me and see how my results are going, and we'll talk soon. And I wish you all the best of luck, because I know in this industry people can do it. Have a great day.